Good morning, everybody. We've been tracking Tropical Storm Bertha for quite a while now, at least for 4 or 5 days, and here we are. It's now in our backyard. I'm meteorologist Johnny Lively. If we put our Tamco Live Doppler radar in motion, we can actually see the center of Bertha. Here it is, just south of Lake Arthur, Louisiana. It's going to continue moving into Cameron Parish, just south of Lake Charles, a little bit later this morning, really in the next 30-45 minutes, and then this will push into areas like Beaumont, Sabine Pass, Port Arthur a little bit later this morning, giving us a chance for some showers and thunderstorms later this morning into the afternoon. But some of the heaviest rain continues to be well offshore, even though that the center is here. All of the big nasty storms, especially the intense lightning and the heavy rainfall rates, continue to water the fishies. It is well offshore. Now, we'll continue to watch this move westward. This is going to be the big headline, not the center. The center right here will help give some showers and thunderstorms to the upper Texas coastline. But this right here, what will move west into portions of Corpus Christi, Victoria, and Lake Jackson, that's where you can see the potential for widespread, or right along the coast, 2 to 3 to 4 inches, maybe some pockets of 5 to 6 inches. That's where we're going to watch that go into those regions. But for the center, here in southeast Texas, southwest Louisiana, the worst case scenario we're looking at, and this is just isolated totals, maybe up to 1 to 2 inches, maybe up to 3 inches. Majority of us, we're looking at about 1/4 to 1/2 an inch of rain. But again, let's go dive into the latest on Bertha. You can see it on the satellite imagery. The canopy, it is pretty large. I mean, look at all the big, it's large miles this is kind of taking up into the Gulf, especially into the western Gulf, but it's all offshore. Lots of water going down into the fish over there, for the fishies down there into the Gulf. And you can see here is the latest track with Bertha. You can see it made landfall yesterday afternoon, yesterday into southeast Louisiana, continue moving off southwest into the Gulf yesterday evening, overnight last night, and then actually has moved back into the Louisiana coastline, and we'll see if it kind of dips back down later this morning. Getting back into the Gulf, but really doesn't change too much of our forecast. So here we are, put this in motion. This is where we expected it will to be. Well, actually, this is where it is right now. We expected it will continue moving westward this morning. I don't know if it will go back offshore. If it does, it doesn't change the forecast too much, but you continue to see that we should see this ride the coastline. Maybe it makes a second landfall somewhere between Galveston to Lake Jackson region later this afternoon and evening time. Again, some of the heaviest rainfall will likely be from Corpus to Victoria to Lake Jackson to Galveston. Areas like Houston, Beaumont to Lake Charles, 1 to 2 inches of rain is possible, maybe getting up to 3 inches, and that's very, very isolated for that happening. But that's the latest track that we have with Tropical Storm Bertha. Some of the biggest headlines has been the temperatures. Right now, you look at the current temperatures, we're already pretty much into the 80s. Yesterday's heat was very insane, especially the heat index. We broke records right along the coast, had 101 degrees over there at Galveston. Just to me, that's mind-blowing. But it was hot. I mean, we had heat index 115, some areas up near 120 degrees. So it was very intense. Thanks for sponsor Silsby Ford letting us know what's going on. Now, a big difference today versus yesterday, the coverage of rain's pretty much about the same. We see 50 to possibly getting up to 60% coverage. I think the highest coverage will be over there towards Lake Jackson, Galveston, and the Houston regions, but still Beaumont, Port Arthur, Lake Jackson, or Lake Charles, we should get up to at least 50% coverage around the lunchtime into the afternoon. But thanks to the clouds, a little bit of rain, and the breeze, we are not going to get into the upper 90s, and the heat index will not be what it was yesterday. We will stay into the low to mid 90s. Still hot. Still July, it's still Texas, still Louisiana weather, but just letting you know that we're not going to be as hot thanks to the breezy conditions that we're seeing from Tropical Storm Bertha, bringing in some clouds and a little bit of rain. So this does look scary. Hurricane icon right on top of us, a tropical icon right on top of us. Again, the heaviest storms are well offshore. We'll see that push into Corpus Christi, Victoria, Lake Jackson, and Galveston later today. And for our area, like southeast Texas, from Houston, Beaumont, Orange, down to Port Arthur, even into Lake Charles, we'll see some scattered showers and storms. I think majority of us about, quarter to maybe 1/2 an inch. We can see some isolated areas get heavy in that. But look, by Friday late morning, especially by Friday afternoon, we start drying out quickly. Here we are by Saturday. That is all dry weather, and some of the moisture is actually really kind of tied into that weak frontal boundary. So we'll start seeing that moisture go into more of the southern plains, into sections of the deep south, and you'll see some of the heaviest rain then. But by this weekend, we start drying out very quickly. It's back to our summer pattern that we typically would see. And you can see that today. This is our highest coverage of rain, 50 to 60% coverage, sponsored by Switch Electric. 20% on Friday morning, by Friday afternoon, and then the rest of the weekend into early to middle of next week, we dry out back to pretty much hot and mostly dry conditions. There is the center of Tropical Storm Bertha. Again, it will run right through southeast Texas. It seems scary, right? But again, the heaviest rain will remain offshore, but we still expect for some scattered showers and storms, 50 to possibly up to 60% coverage. Again, majority of us a quarter to a half an inch. Some isolated areas like that or here or there could get up to an inch of rain, but I think some of the heaviest rain will definitely be towards Lake Jackson, this general region over here. But you can see that the center will cross right over us. And again, there, let me move out of the way. You can see Port Lavakia, these areas, that's where we could see some of the training thunderstorms, the heavy rainfall. None of that is going to be an issue for really for us over here into Beaumont, Sabine Pass, Lake Charles. But there you go. There's some of the heaviest rain over there. So if we put this kind of in motion, the rainfall totals, I don't think this model actually. Let me go back here real quick. This particular one, I don't buy that one bit. I apologize. Let's go back to the last run real quick. And I think this probably will do a little bit better job. Okay, so I think in a good portion of our region, we can get up to, if you do get rain, the areas that do, quarter of an inch to a half an inch. And then these pockets of red, this is 1, 2, possibly up to 3 to 4 inches of rain. So that would be near Sweeney, Lake Jackson, Angleton, and you could probably even go further westward than that. And I'll actually continue to keep doing that as well. So this model just updated, so I don't know how well it will do, but I'm just trying to show. And again, I think some of these heaviest totals will get into these regions. So areas like this over here, 1 to 2 inches is possible. Could see some isolated getting up to 3, 4, if not up to 5 inches. And again, we'll watch to see if this heaviest rain moves into Corpus. So pretty much, I'll keep saying this: Corpus to Victoria to Lake Jackson to even Galveston. I think this is where some of the heaviest rainfall will be. And even then, I don't think it's going to be some big problems. I think some of the heaviest rainfall and the biggest issues are going to mean well offshore, which doesn't mean any issues at all. But areas like Houston, Beaumont, Port Arthur, this is just, Tropical Storm Bertha is actually just kind of cooling us down more than anything is what we're seeing. Temperatures this afternoon, yesterday they were all at 100 degrees pretty much. Today we're not seeing that. Upper 80s to low to mid 90s. Down towards the coast was pretty much upper 90s to 100 to 102 degrees. So a big difference today. You were in pretty much the middle to upper 80s. Thanks again to our sponsor of Silsby Ford. Get you one. And then overnight tonight, it's definitely going to be humid. There's no doubt about it. We've got that tropical air mass here. So upper 70s to pretty much the low to mid 80s. And then here we are for our 7-day forecast for Southeast Texas. We are pretty much saying goodbye to Bertha pretty much tonight, getting into Friday morning, and then it's back to mostly hot and mostly dry conditions like we typically see in Southeast Texas this time of year. But we do have 50% coverage today. We'll get through these storms. Again, some isolated areas could get up to 1 to 2 inches, maybe up to 3 inches. But a majority of us that do get rain, we're looking at about a quarter to maybe up to a half an inch of rain. Same thing for Southwest Louisiana today. A little bit of Friday morning is our best potential for some showers and thunderstorms from the tropical air mass from Tropical Storm Bertha. And then we're going to start drying out this weekend and into next week as well, too. Temperatures back into the mid-90s. Good time to go download the free Gulf Coast Weather Solutions app. We're watching Tropical Storm Bertha. This app will keep you updated when those showers and thunderstorms are moving in and out of your area. Want to just take a look real quick to see where it is. So here we are. That center is pretty much moving into Cameron Parish, and it's not much of one. I mean, look at that. There's the center, and we pretty much don't even have any storms at all. The storms remain well far south, so the center is right there, and we don't even have any storms. We should see some storms develop later this morning and into the afternoon, but Bertha is just having a hard time. The center is. The biggest story to me is definitely the heaviest rain that will continue moving westward into section of Corpus Christi to Lake Jackson later today. So, again, go download the free Gulf Coast Weather Solutions app. You will be able to track Bertha. You'll be able to track all the storms. We have some really exciting news as well, too. Meteorologist Lucas Boswick will be live on Fox Weather later around 2:15. So if you want to kind of dive in and go watch that, I would say tune in early around 2:10 to around 2:30. Lucas will be on live discussing Tropical Storm Bertha, the impacts we've seen, and these impacts have been a little bit different than what we see with tropical systems. A lot of time it's flash floods along the the coastline. We see tornadoes, severe thunderstorms. It's on the east side of the storm, moving northeast. But Bertha has been the complete opposite. We've actually seen heat index, heat advisories. Heat has been the biggest driver from Bertha. All of the rain has remained offshore. So this is a very uncommon tropical system. Everything has stayed well offshore. A lot of times during the July tropical systems, we see flooding, kind of like Arthur a couple weeks ago, 30 inches of rain in eastern Louisiana. So tune in, 2:15 on Fox Weather. Meteorologist Lucas Boswick will be talking about the interesting facts that we've seen with Tropical Storm Bertha and the heat that we had to deal with yesterday. So tune in, dive in on Fox Weather, and watch meteorologist Lucas Boswick. Thanks again for tuning in to our Thursday morning show. Stay cool. We'll be tracking Tropical Storm Bertha's rain that's moving in later this morning into the afternoon, and we'll continue to keep watching this heavy rain that will move westward. None of that is a problem for us here in southeast Texas, but just in general for Corpus all the way to the Galveston region, we will continue to keep watching it. Thanks again for tuning in. Y'all have a wonderful Thursday.
Gulf Coast Weather Solutions is sponsored by. Thank you for making Gulf Coast Weather Solutions one of your go-to sources for weather around the clock. From heavy downpours and severe storms to winter weather and the tropics, we've got you covered with accurate, reliable forecasts you can trust.
Next week is starting to look a little bit more stormy.
But look what's moving into the state of Texas.
Gulf Coast Weather Solutions.